The BlackRock of blockchain? Wow. Now that is a huge statement, right? And according to the source material we're looking at today, that comparison is absolutely intentional. The idea here is that we're not just talking about another crypto company. We're talking about a potential foundational player, a giant in on-chain finance. So let's unpack exactly what this theory is all about. So today we are breaking down a really bullish investment thesis for a company called BitMine Immersion Technologies, or ticker BMNR. The whole story here is that the company is about to go through this massive transformation, all because of a secret project that some are calling an Ethereum killer. To get our heads around it, we're going to follow the breadcrumbs, just like the source does. We'll start with the main claim, hunt for the evidence, dive into the tech, and then we'll connect it all to the numbers. All right, let's get right into it. Part 1. What is this central and, let's be honest, pretty audacious claim at the heart of this whole thing? It all starts with the company's treasury. BMNR is sitting on a mountain of ether, 3.63 million of it. Now, the argument is that this isn't just money sitting in a digital wallet collecting dust. No, the idea is that this is the rocket fuel for something brand new. And this is really the key. We're not talking about simple staking, where you just earn a little interest on your crypto. The claim is way bigger than that. The theory is that BMR has secretly built its own software, a machine designed to take that huge pile ETH and turn it into a high-profit engine. And apparently, it's about to go live soon. Okay, so you're probably thinking, that's a wild claim. Where's the proof? Well, the thesis doesn't just pull this out of thin air. It tries to build a case by connecting a series of, digital breadcrumbs. So let's follow the trail they laid out. And this is where it gets interesting. Look at this sequence of events. It all starts in November. BMNR trademarks the name BitForge. Okay. Then they supposedly hire 3 key engineers from Consensus, which, is a massive name in the Ethereum world. Add a cryptic comment from the CEO and a key job posting, and it all feels like it's building up to something big, right? The projected date for the big reveal? January 15th. And speaking of that CEO comment, here it is. This is from an actual earnings call. Now, the language here is super specific. You don't just throw around words like transformational or say you're going to redefine what a treasury can do. That's not business as usual. That's signaling a huge change in direction. So what did the internet do with these clues? You guessed it. Theories started flying. The source points to one big idea, that BMNR is building autonomous treasury agents. Now, here's the wild part. The claim is this is a bigger deal than any layer 2 solution. And that's saying something. L2s are all about making Ethereum faster and cheaper. But the thinking here is that while L2s improve the highway, this new thing is like building a whole new city next to it. It's not just an improvement. It's a whole new layer of value. Okay, so we've got all this build up. What is this supposed killer app? Let's get into the guts of the technology, which the source calls by its trademarked name, BitForge. At its core, BitForge is described as, get this, an operating system for money. So imagine a system that doesn't need a team of traders glued to their screens 24/7. Instead, the claim is that AI agents and preset strategies will just manage BMNR's massive treasury, all by themselves, running autonomously on the blockchain. So what does this thing actually do? Well, the source breaks it down. First, AI agents are constantly hunting for the best possible returns in the DeFi space. Then, the profits they make are automatically used to buy back BMNR stock. And this next part is crucial. It's supposedly built with a dedicated on-ramp for the big fish. We're talking banks, pension funds, to plug their capital right in. And all of this is designed to create what the thesis calls a flywheel effect, a self-reinforcing cycle that just keeps feeding on itself and getting more and more powerful. Let's see how that works. So here's how the cycle is supposed to work. Step 1. It all starts with BMNR's own ETH as the seed capital. 2. The AI agents go out and generate profits. 3. The token holders actually get a say in the strategies. 4. A chunk of those profits is used to automatically buy back company stock. And 5. That buyback drives up the share value, which makes the whole system more powerful, and the cycle starts all over again. Pretty clever, right? Okay, the tech sounds pretty wild, but understanding the what is only half the story. Now we get to the part where the source makes its boldest claims by connecting all these ideas to some cold, hard numbers and some very aggressive price targets. So the analysis lays out this 3-phase rollout. Phase 1, at launch, just uses BMNR's own money and projects nearly $1 billion in annual revenue. Then, in Phase 2, just 1 quarter later, it assumes institutions start piling in, pushing the assets up to $10 billion. And phase 3 is the moonshot, $100 billion in assets, generating $10 billion in revenue. Now, we got to be clear, even the source notes these are obviously very aggressive, speculative numbers. So how do they get from those crazy revenue numbers to a stock price? Well, the source lays out a pretty simple two-part formula. First, you take the company's existing assets, its net asset value, and they peg that at about $66 a share. But then, and this is the kicker, they add a separate value just for the BitForge tech itself, another $78 a share. You add those two together, and that's how you get their initial target of $144. And it doesn't stop there. This chart gives you a pretty good idea of the range of targets being discussed. You've got that initial launch target right around $146, but then the thesis looks further out to a 2027 target of over $300 and a really bullish long-term target of $500. What's interesting is that even inside this bullish case, there are a couple different takes on what happens right at launch. One view says that a $146 target is the starting line, the floor, but another, maybe more conservative view, says the first thing to watch for is a breakout right around $71 once the news drops. But look, at the end of the day, this whole thesis we just walked through, every number, every projection, it all comes down to one single thing: the successful launch and adoption of BitForge. That's the catalyst. The whole argument is that this one event completely changes what BMNR even is. It goes from being a company valued on what it holds to a tech company valued on what it does. And, if you just zoom out for a second and forget about this one company, the ideas in this thesis are pretty mind-bending. AI agents running corporate treasuries, automated stock buybacks. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could this be a sneak peek at how every single company might manage its money someday? That's the big, provocative question the source leaves us with.